Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another amazing episode of Dark Feminine Love. This is Leslie Tavernier, your host. I am a dark feminine love coach, and I support women in alchemizing anxious attachment into power. And I have with me here once again my very special guest, my dark masculine man, Rakem Sekou. Would you like to introduce yourself to us, please?
Yeah, peace and blessings, everybody. My name is Rakem Sekou. I'm a metaphysician, life and love coach, and operator of the Pantheon Spiritual Community.
Wonderful. I'm so happy to have you here. So I have some really hard-hitting questions for you today. So are you ready?
Uh-oh, you got some you've got some hard hitters.
Very hard-hitting.
Very, very hard hitters. Okay.
The first
Well,
one's an easy one though.
historically, you've always gone soft on me, so this this is going to be different, right? This is a hard hitting interview. No more softballs. No more easy questions.
Exactly. This one's an easy one though. I think this one's going to be easy for you. So the first question is, did you know that pumpkin seeds are really great for producing high quality semen?
Yes, I did know that.
Yeah.
I realized that when I was in my spiritual community, we were all vegan,
Okay.
and we had a men's group. And in the men's group, we always talked about, ways that we could increase our virility, especially those of us who were married, because that was a big deal for the married men. You know,
Mhm.
being able to please our wives, like they wanted to fuck every night, and so we were always looking for ways to increase our virility. Pumpkin seeds is one of those things. And there's a number of different, things that we used to take,
Mhm.
dietary stuff, herbs, all that kind of stuff. So yes, I was aware of that.
That's so great. So I looked it up on Google because I wanted to see, well, what else? So I'm gonna just tell you the list of what I found. I also found that Brazil nuts, walnuts, almonds, chia seeds, avocados are also really good. And according to AI, oily fish. So
Hmm.
salmon, sardines, and mackerel. No, I only like to eat salmon, so I'm not going to feed you sardines and mackerel. But
Okay.
oily fish is supposed to be good. Leafy greens, so spinach, kale, collard greens, things of that nature are also supposed to be really good. And fruits, citrus fruits, tomatoes, pomegranates. Do you like pomegranates?
They're okay. I mean, I'll eat them. I don't want to work to open them up, but yeah, I'll eat them.
I know. And watermelon is also supposed to be really great because it's like it's good for b blood flow and it's good for erections and things like that. So,
Absolutely.
um, I already mentioned nuts and seeds and lean proteins. Now they say things like oysters. I'm not going to feed you oysters. I think that's gross. But like lean proteins like are supposed to be good. And legumes, so beans and lentils and whole grains such as brown rice and oats are also good. And in addition to that, dark chocolate is supposed to be good,
Mm.
garlic, chili peppers, and red wine. So do you like red wine?
I'm not a big wine person, no.
What kind of alcohol do you like?
I'm not a big alcohol person. When I do drink, I like dark liquor, so bourbon is what I tend to go with. I'll
Ah,
drink like an old fashioned, or I have a drink that is also named after me called the Sekou.
really? Where do you find that?
My girlfriend made it for me. She used to be a bartender.
Oh, wow, amazing. Okay, so the next question is, okay, in the last episode, you talked about two different types of lying. You said there's masculine lying and there's feminine lying, and the masculine lying is the one that most of us are used to, where the story that you tell is doesn't match up with what actually happened. Whereas feminine lying is more like you will reveal some of the information, but you'll withhold pertinent information. So the feminine type is withholding. And so I wanted to ask you, like, what's the difference between what you call feminine lying versus just being mysterious and discreet? Because I know that that's something that a lot of men are attracted to women who are discreet and who are mysterious. And
Yeah.
so, like, what's the difference between, withholding pertinent information versus being mysterious and discreet?
Well, yeah, I mean the difference is that this is information that both parties know that they would want to know. You see what I'm saying? So like if we're in a monogamous relationship and I get my dick sucked on the bus ride home, I mean, obviously I know that my wife will want to know that. You see what I'm saying? Like that's not something that I have to think about or wonder, does she want to know that? No, obviously she wants to know that. So mystery is just, it covers things that really, the other person wouldn't be interested in knowing or wouldn't think to ask or those types of things. Like, how do you end up, looking so good with your makeup? Oh, it's because of contouring. Well, I didn't know about contouring. Well, you probably don't need to know about contouring. You don't care about contouring. You just care if I look good or not. But when it comes to what you're doing, sexually, if you're upholding the tenets and protocols that you've agreed upon in your relationship, whatever excuse you make up to not reveal certain information is just, it's just lying, especially when you have an agreement. Now, if you don't have an agreement and you guys are in the dating or courting stage or whatever, that's a different scenario. But there's always this thing that we don't understand what the equality of the sexes actually looks like because we expect them to operate in the same exact way. And that's why I differentiated in my book, Tame Your Woman. I differentiated the masculine forms of lying versus the feminine forms. Because women they'll do the feminine form of lying, but not consider it to be a lie.
Mm.
So like, she'll go to the club, with her girlfriend, she'll sneak out and have sex with a guy in the backseat of his car, come back into the club, finish partying and come home. And she'll say, yeah, she'll tell her guy, like, yeah, I went to the club with my girlfriend, we partied and I came home. And in her mind, that's the truth because she didn't say anything that was incorrect.
Mm.
And but the point is that it is a form of lying. It is a form of deceit and deception only because you know that your boyfriend wants to know that information and that it's pertinent to your all's relationship. So that's what I mean when I talk about the separation and why I do.
So here's the thing that I've noticed, Rakim. A lot of women who complain about their dark masculine man being a liar, those same women are extremely resistant to being called a liar. Like they will like adamantly swear up and down that they do not tell lies at all, ever. And so a lot of women have resistance to admitting that they also lie. So how can women let go of that resistance and actually take an honest look at themselves, and be real with themselves?
Well, there's a few things. I mean, one is the educational process. So that's one of the things that I do is I educate men and women in terms of like the metaphysics of life so we can understand. Because again, the way the feminine functions in the world is going to be different or complementary to that of the masculine, right? So if you don't understand that those two energies express themselves differently, then it's going to be hard for you to understand the truth of the reality that we live in. And so what women will say is, well, my man lied in this way or did X, Y, and Z. I don't do that.
Right.
Therefore, he's a liar, I'm not.
Mhm.
And they're not understanding, well, yeah, because that's a masculine expression of lying and of violating the relationship. Let's look at the feminine violations. And that's why I gave that example in the last podcast about, well, the fact that you're withholding information from him, like the fact that, if you get pregnant, you're definitely keeping the kid, or that you want to get pregnant, even though you've told him that, what I'm saying, you're not interested, or you definitely want to marry your dark masculine, what I'm saying? And that's what you're working towards, even though you've told him that you're fine just having casual sex or whatever. Like those are also equal forms of lying. In your mind and in your heart, there's something that you want, that you desire, that any man in that situation would want to know. So, yeah, it's just a matter of us understanding and being clear on like kind of how life works, how these energies express themselves, and being honest with ourselves. So first is education. The second is, if women want to experience a particular reality, if they want to manifest things in their life, then they're going to have to take accountability for their reality. And you look at your life and how things are showing up, and that's the truth. The reality of your current life, the reality of your health, the reality of your relationships, the reality of your family situation. That's the truth of who you are as a human being. It's not circumstantial. It's not the cards you were dealt. It's who you are. It's what you generate from the inside out that's creating this reality around you. And so, women don't have to accept that truth. You know what I mean? Like they can make excuses, but you're not going to be able to change anything until you actually accept it. So it's a matter of women, again, understanding the metaphysics of life. Your reality reflects who you are as a person. and your reality includes all these things, health, relationships, spirituality, et cetera, once you understand that, then you can accept it and then you can make some moves and changes to alter your life if you're looking for something different. So that's, in my opinion, that's the two things that it requires.
Mhm. And I agree with you, Rakim, because when I take a look at many of my clients over the years, most of them would say that, well, he lied to me, like he told me something that was not actually what is occurring or has occurred. But in every single instance that I can think of looking back, like there were things that she wasn't telling him. Like, for example, I had a client who she was saying that he was lying to her about sleeping with other women, but like she wasn't telling him that she actually also wanted to have an open relationship and be with other men and women. Like she wasn't telling him that. So in her mind, she wasn't lying to him, but yeah, she was withholding information.
Absolutely. And again, it's not about castigating anybody. I mean, we all do both of those forms of lying. We
Mhm.
all withhold information from our partners or from our job or whatever, right? And then we all tend to replace one reality with another when we're talking to people because we were trained that way as children because a lot of us were trying to survive as children. So we didn't want to get in trouble. We know if we told our mom that we got an F or we told our mom that we knocked a vase and broke it or whatever, that we would get in trouble, get a spanking, whatever it might be. So we figured out ways to create alternative realities and communicate things that the adults in our life wanted to hear or wanted to see. And so that's where it all began. It began in terms of us trying to survive as children, inside harsh environments. And it just continued into adulthood. And that's why I talked about the whole concept of initiation that, cultures realized, ancient, older cultures and more indigenous cultures realized that you have to initiate children out of their mindset in order for them to actually become adults. So because they're used to being scared and being fearful and like I said, lying and doing all this kind of stuff, if they're going to be constructive parts of society, they have to be taught not to do that and be taught to face the fears that cause them to lie and the uncertainty and all that kind of stuff and adopt an adult mindset, a new mindset, and that takes initiation. And most people in Western culture have not been initiated. So they continue to carry that child mind into their relationships, into their life, and they don't really understand that concept. So it's hard for them, it's hard to explain that to people. But no, whatever you learn to do as a young child, you're going to continue to do that, as an adult, if you haven't initiated yourself out of it or done very serious work to get yourself out of it. And the issue is when you're an adult, you can just pretend that you're responsible and say, no, I'm fine, I'm cool, whatever, and like really skirt that responsibility. That's why in these cultures I'm talking about, they forced all the children once they got to a certain age, you have to be initiated. It's not a question. You see what I'm saying? Like you don't get to choose and make up an excuse for why you should be initiated or not be initiated. No, we'll do that for you. And that's kind of how they guaranteed everybody had an adult mindset in their culture.
Beautiful. I know I've brought this up before, but I feel like I have to bring it up again because a lot of women who are in financial abundance or overflow, um, still have a hard time with this. So how can women release the shame and embarrassment around spending money on their dark masculine man?
Well, again, to me, it's re-education, understanding that, money is not a masculine concept. Being rich is not a masculine concept. So one of the things that women should be focusing on the empowerment movement is understand that it's also their birthright as women to have money and to have riches and to have wealth and have abundance. And once you're able to like really step into that mindset, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to accept giving money to your dark masculine or paying for dates or buying gifts. Like again, going back to that whole Megan Thee Stallion example you gave me a few weeks ago, where she gave her boyfriend Clay $50,000 and she still cooks for him, and they bought a house together. You know what I'm saying? Like they split the amount to buy these multi-million-dollar house and stuff like that. Like she just has more of a wealth consciousness. She's had money for a while. She understands that, the things that she wants, she's going to go ahead and buy and pay for. She understands that she likes to give gifts, that she likes to spend money on her men. She understands that the men that she wants, they expect that. They expect a reciprocal relationship. They don't want to be with somebody who can't reciprocate. Like some men do, because and sometimes that's for control, but a lot of men want a woman who's also empowered,
Mm.
Actually, most men want that, but a lot of men are having a hard time stepping into that reality. But yeah, men want women who are empowered, and like women need to understand that. You got to stop listening to these podcasts. A lot of the people who are complaining online, as I've told you, these are unempowered men and women, and they're
Mhm.
just complaining. It's just a bunch of complaining about, women not doing this and men not doing that, and just excuse making and a lot of victimization. Like that's not the reality of life. Anybody who's been married, for any length of time understands that it's like people coming together. We work together to make things happen, to raise the family, to pay these bills. And sometimes the man's got it, sometimes the woman's got it, sometimes they do it, they split it together. Like whatever's required for us to thrive and grow together, that's what it's really about. So, yeah, I just think a lot of women they're caught up in the social media stuff.
Mm.
They're listening to a lot of women who are not actually empowered. A lot of these women they don't have solid relationships. They've never had good relationships with the masculine. Like their relationship with their father is trash, is messed up. They've never had solid marriages. Their history is real shaky when it comes to relationship success and all these types of things.
Mhm.
And now they're trying to teach women and talk to women, and because these women tend to be very good salespeople
Mhm.
or magnanimous or whatever, like a lot of women are going to go listen to them and
Mhm.
think that what they're saying is true,
Yeah.
but really it's not. Like they're just venting and like pushing their particular agenda. No, the everybody has similar desires in life. We all want to be loved and we want to love people. We want to come together in harmony with others. We all want primary partners in our life, those that we trust and that we believe in, who believe in us. And we want to share love and all those types of things. Now, the way our relationship might look, it might be different from the next person or next couple, right? But we still want that kind of connection in our life.
Mhm.
And so, for anybody preaching something different is just, I mean, these are toxic individuals.
Mhm.
And, you know, part of your path in terms of growing, as a woman and a man, is choosing what spiritual teacher or what influencer you're going to listen to and what information you're going to take and accept.
Mhm.
Like, that's really up to you. Like, just because these people are great salespeople or they look beautiful or whatever doesn't mean that it's an excuse for you to follow them blindly or do the things that they're talking about because in many cases these people are not happy, they're not fulfilled.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember I was talking to a money coach she's married and she is a millionaire, and her husband, he's not wealthy. He just has I think he probably makes less than 100,000. And so I asked her, how does your husband feel about, all this money that you're making? And her answer was, it turns him on. It's sexually arousing to him. And I think a lot
Absolutely.
of women, they don't understand that a wealthy woman, especially one who is generous, is a sexual turn on to certain men. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's sexy. In the same way women are turned on by men who got money, men are turned on the same way. And in that particular example you named, and I'm not going to say I don't know who you're talking about, but a lot of cases, these women, they're married and they start to become very successful financially
Mhm.
and become millionaires. And part of the reason why is because they have a very stable and
Yeah.
loving connection at home.
Mm.
Like their husbands like really supported them. Like, yeah, go out and do your thing, do your business. I'm like, I'm here. I'll support you. I'll do whatever I got to do to help you realize your dream.
Yeah.
That happens to a lot of men too. They have a really solid woman at home and she supports them in doing X, Y, and Z. So, for real married couples, you know what I mean? Like whether they have love for each other and that kind of stuff, like, yes, if one person wins, the other person wins too. Like they
Mhm.
understand that, they know that. And so there's no kind of weird insecurity in
Mhm.
terms of the man making money and the woman not, or the woman making money and the man not. Like, no, nobody cares. In a real marriage, like it's a win for us. It's a win for our children. It's a win for our families. It's a win for our legacy.
Yeah.
And also, these men in the scenario you're talking about, they, like I said, they realize that they're a part of, their wife's success.
Mm.
Because she's, crying in his arms at night or be able to talk to him about things that's going on, or, he's able to help out with the business or do whatever it is. And like these men understand that.
Yeah.
You know, again, I'm hoping people can at some point understand like what real marriage and real relationships actually are, as opposed to what these people are venting about and victimizing about online. No, that's the real deal. Both men and women love money. Both men and women, would love to make money. And when you're inside a real relationship and a real marriage, each spouse would see it as a win when the other spouse has a come up. Now, again, if you've married for the wrong reasons and you don't really love your partner, you see what I'm saying? Or you just married for status, or you married for safety, you're married out of fear, or whatever it might be, then those are the people who have something to worry about. Because,
Mm.
oh, you don't have a real connection with your partner. You don't have a real marriage, a real relationship. It's like some kind of weird convenience thing, or it's transactional, or whatever it might be. That's when people have concern because they're in it for the wrong reasons. But I'm talking about real relationships, real marriage. No, these people are excited when their partner comes up. Absolutely.
Mm. So while many men appreciate a wife who is discreet in what she shares with the general public, how can men learn to appreciate a woman who has more, let's say, lover archetypal energy, such as, Ayesha Curry or Prince Harry's wife, Meghan? A lot of people um, they don't like Meghan because, she says things that they feel is inappropriate for her to say in public. And so how can a man embrace a wife who, she doesn't always think before she speaks? Um, how can men feel good about that?
Yeah, I don't know about the examples you gave, um, but in general, in terms of the lover archetype,
Mhm,
which can also translate to that enlightened feminine or that Venus energy.
mhm,
No, I think men who are secure in themselves and secure in the relationship and the marriage, they don't really care. I mean, in the same way, men are going to say some things that might be, out of pocket or even offensive or whatever or insensitive,
mhm,
and the woman has to make the adjustment. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Like the bottom line is your partner, if they're in the public eye, the probability of them saying something that is potentially, you know, um, revealing
mhm,
of, family stuff that's happening, or it could be a little bit embarrassing, whatever, is very high. That's the whole point. That's why a lot of people don't want to be in the public eye because you're being looked under like from a microscopic standpoint.
mhm,
And so, yeah, like any man who's mature is going to realize, yeah, my wife's going to say some stuff that's going to be criticized.
mhm,
And people are going to question me about it. They're going to question my manhood about it, that kind of stuff. But like with the Aisha Curry situation, like there's nothing she said that really, like again, these males who are like really strong in their victim mentality,
mhm.
they're the ones that have an issue with it. No real man has an issue with anything Aisha Curry said or what she expressed. Like we don't care. She's saying what she believes, what she feels. You see what I'm saying? And I'm sure she's got a connection strong enough with Steph where they can do their thing. In terms of Meghan Markle, I don't know a lot of things about her. I think the big complaint about her is that she came into a situation and she didn't really fit into the structure.
Mhm.
So, and people have a hard time believing maybe that she's really into her husband in the way that she's claiming or whatever. But I think that's more of the issue. Like, when you look at Britain and you look at their history, especially when it comes to the king and the queen,
Mhm.
over the centuries, like when you come into the royal family, you just fit in.
Yeah.
Like nobody's really trying to hear about your individuality that
Yeah.
much. That
Yeah.
was the whole issue with Princess Diana. Like
Yeah.
people loved her, like her personality was amazing and the way she expressed was amazing. But the issue that the British people had with her is she's outside the confines of that role she's supposed to play.
Yeah.
No, if you want to be free and do your thing and whatever, just don't join the royal family and just go to clubs. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with Meghan Markle. You don't want to if you don't want to fit into what the royal family is, then go date somebody else. You're a beautiful woman. You can get almost any man you want. You see what I'm saying? But so that's the issue that people have with her. I don't think it's because she's, happens to express herself in a certain way. I think it's because she refuses to fit into the royal family and what the tradition has been for hundreds of years. And the British people are very sensitive about that.
Mm. Do you think that Meghan ruined Harry's legacy? Because like he's not even living in Europe anymore. He's in LA, like he's just like not even trying to do his royal duties anymore. A lot of the complaint that people make is that she's a terrible wife because she ruined his legacy.
Well, first of all, Harry, he's got to make his own choices and decisions.
Mhm.
So it's not fair to say Meghan ruined his legacy. No, you chose to marry her. You see what I'm saying? So that's really all on you. in addition to that, Harry's not somebody who really, when you, as a man who's kind of been on the planet for a minute, been in a lot of relationships, like understands the game. Harry's very inexperienced. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like he doesn't understand women or feminine energy, all that kind of stuff. So he didn't know what he was getting into with a woman like Megan. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? Like she's the dominant one in the relationship. She understands the game more than he does. Her experiences with men in relationships far supersedes his. You understand? So she just didn't know, and there wasn't the structure in place within the royal family and his family to really help him navigate that.
Mm.
Like I don't have any issue if he loves his wife and wants to be with her, that's fine. But he needed to know and understand, like, look, either I'm going to manage this situation in marriage a very particular way so I can secure my legacy, or I'll just relate to her however relate to her, whatever happens, happens. And that's what seemed to have happened, where he just kind of went with the flow. She said what she wanted to say. She kind of violated the tenets, the existing tenets of the royal family and the British culture. And he ended up not being, a part of the royal family anymore. Like he's actually out of the royal family. And it's no surprise because, he is the son of Princess Diana. You see what I'm saying? So this is kind of like a continuation of her legacy
Mm.
where, her children are going to be, there's no surprise, like one of her two children might be a bit on the, you know what I'm saying? Like outside the confines of their royal duties and that kind of stuff. So I don't put it on Meghan. I put it on the fact that the royal family didn't have things in place to really help these children, make wise decisions. And there's definitely no masculine energy in his life to help him understand, like, look, son, this is the game. This woman that you're about to deal with, she's going to attempt to run things. You know what I'm saying? And she comes from American culture. She's not going to have respect for the royal family and British culture just because she's an American. Most Americans don't.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And they didn't teach him the game. They didn't teach him how to manage feminine energy. They didn't teach him how to like, be sexually powerful and all that kind of stuff. So that's where he's at. That's what it looks like when a man is not fully prepared to interface with an experienced woman.
Okay. Wow. All right. So another comment that people love to make, and I saw someone make this comment on your Instagram recently. Um, she was saying that, oh, actually, no, you said to her that only 1 to 2% of the population has narcissistic personality disorder. And I've read that many years ago as well. And then she came back with the same thing that a lot of women have said to me, which is that, well, that statistic is skewed because, the men aren't turning themselves in to be diagnosed. If the men, by and large, were turning themselves in to be diagnosed, then the percentage of NPD would be a lot higher than 1 to 2%. So my question is, do you feel that men should turn themselves in to be potentially diagnosed with NPD?
No, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Because really, I mean, so the question is, well, where would it stop? So should we all turn ourselves in to be diagnosed for all the disorders? Narcissistic personality disorder, bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder. Like, you see what I'm saying? Where does it stop? So we'll basically all human beings will be, subjected to psychological tests for like years out of their life because of mandatory testing. You see what I'm saying? Like it's just ridiculous. So nobody's doing that. It's just ridiculous. And my point was that, and not that I disagreed with what she was saying, but she missed the point of the video. The point of the video is saying, like, look, if you're going to make up stuff, like, most men are narcissists or half the men are, or whatever the thing is, or a lot or whatever she was saying, then everybody can make stuff up. I
Mm.
could say most women are crazy as hell. You see what I'm saying? Well, Rakim, where are you getting statistics? Well, the women won't go in and get tested. So I'm just, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, just either we're using statistics,
Mhm.
which is what we use in our society to kind of understand our society, right? Or
Mhm.
we can all just make up whatever we want to make up. So you see what I'm saying? So no, I mean, it's the same thing. Like this other woman said, like all people should have to go register if they have certain, sexually transmitted diseases, and create like this national registry. So it's like, okay, mandatory STD testing, and then you have this registry. You see what I'm saying? Like, no one's doing that. That's ridiculous. Same thing. Like, can we have registries on women who act crazy in relationships and stalk their partner? You see what I'm saying? Like, I want that registry. Can I have the registry of people with a credit score below 600? Can I have a registry, you saying, with the people who have like some kind of mental illness? Can I have a registry of the people who've cheated on their partner? Like what are we talking about? Like people are just I just think people are just whacked out and just way off the mark. Okay?
Yeah.
So again, I know all of us
Mhm.
would love to have a registry of something that we're interested in, right? But when it comes to us, being on a registry, then we're going to push back. No, I don't want to, like
Mhm.
all the single people, any
Mhm.
single person who's dated a married person, we want them in a registry. This shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you doing that?
What
But
is
I mean,
uh-huh.
the point is so true that
Mhm.
like again, the trend today is women to call men narcissists
Yeah.
and to call them avoidant.
Yeah.
And again, it's not that none of them are,
Mhm.
right? But or have the qualities, but we all have those qualities
Mhm.
to whatever degree. You see what I'm saying? But in terms of what an actual narcissist is, like an actual narcissist, like that is a severe, like they said the brain chemistry of a narcissist is different to the point where they don't even know what the fuck they're doing half the time. In terms of like doing these intentional things that violate other people's, sovereignty and that kind of stuff. Like these they don't understand and you can't teach them to do something different because their brain capacity doesn't allow for that. You see
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So it's like to throw these terms out there to me is just it's kind of toxic.
Mhm. What do you think about Nick Cannon? I mean, he turned himself in and he got diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think people who are actually narcissists
Mhm.
eventually, what I'm saying, they go get, they do end up getting tested at some point. Maybe not right away, but I mean, look at Nick Cannon though. I mean, I don't even know how many baby mamas a guy has, and like, and I knew a woman that he hooked up with.
Oh.
See what I'm saying? And her comment after they hooked up, like she couldn't believe he just like nutted inside of her and they didn't even talk about anything. You know what I'm saying? She's like, "Did you nut it?" Like, what I'm saying? Like, so he does have a particular kind of psychosis about him, and you can look at his lifestyle. Like, what are you doing, bro? You see what I'm saying? Like, and it's obvious, and you can really because his lifestyle is so public. You see what I'm saying? Like, we have a unique look into who he is and how he handles things. So yeah, I mean, it's not like it's a surprise that he has MPD, or it's a surprise that he's got something going on. Like, but we can see all the details, or most of the details, and that allows us to actually have a unique insight. But that's not true for most people. We don't know what's going on with them.
All right. So lately you've been talking about the sexually free woman and praising her. And I want to first know, how do you define sexually free woman?
Sexually free means a woman who is not ashamed of who she is as a sexual being, is not going to allow society or the people around her to limit what she wants to do from a sexual standpoint or who she loves or how she relates. And so basically, she's not carrying the sexual shame. She's not carrying any of this weird, if I have sex, like what do they say? If I have sex before marriage, I'll go blind. Like just the kind of crazy stuff. Like these are women who embrace their sexuality. They understand that sex is a part of their spirituality, is a part of their birthright. It's what keeps them sane in the world. It's important for them to engage. And that in addition to sexual freedom is a concept of sexual empowerment, which is not only do you have sex when you desire to have sex, when it feels good to you, but when you go into the sexual act, then you're not going into it like you're just getting fucked. Like you're going into it where you're actually able to get something out of it, not only be orgasmic, right? But you're also able to like be energized and like you're being fed. So a lot of women you hear them say, for example, these are women who are not sexually empowered. They'll say, well, the man didn't give me an orgasm. So if that's your languaging, then you're not sexually empowered because the man is not here to give you an orgasm. He can't give you an orgasm. You give yourself an orgasm. The man is more of a facilitator or complement to who you already are as a sexual being. So like, Kenya she always famously said, I can have orgasm with any man sexually. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not dependent upon a man for my sexual pleasure. You see what I'm saying? So that to me is what sexual freedom is and what sexual empowerment is. And that's why I was really talking about that. Again, I don't know if you remember when I talk about the dark feminine and everybody says, I'm a dark feminine. You see what I'm saying? It's like, well, the same thing with sexual empowerment. Like everybody thinks they're sexually empowered, but
Mhm.
then you're ashamed to have sex, or you're ashamed to let people know that you're a sexual being, as if all human beings are not sexual beings. Like that's the primary and main thing that we do as human beings is we connect sexually to preserve our sanity and those types of things.
Mhm. So the sexually free woman, does that have to do with the number of partners that she has?
No, not at all. Sexual freedom is not tied to the number of partners you have.
Okay.
Sexual freedom is tied to your mind, your mentality and mind state.
Mm.
So if you see yourself as somebody who can have sex when you want, whenever you want, or not have sex whenever you want or don't want, that's when you're sexually free. That's when you're sexually empowered. Again, people go straight to that. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, when people talk about sexual freedom, they're talking about being promiscuous and just having sex all over the place and sex in the streets. Like what are you talking about? You're projecting your thoughts and your, how you function on what we're talking about when we talk about sexually free people. And that's not the case. Sexually free doesn't mean you're just all over the place. Sexually free means that if you want to have sex, then you're going to have sex. And you'll do that with who you want, when you want, wherever you want. And you're not going to have any shame or kind of weird guilt about it. Religion basically, for example, takes away people's sexual freedom and sexual power. It tries to control sex and tell you when you can have it and with who and under what circumstances. So if you're in religion, or if you adhere to religion, then you're not sexually empowered
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So given the definition that you've provided, which is Uh, I mean, wow. I'm so glad you defined it because I can tell you most people, myself included, when we hear sexually free, we think of a slut, a woman that's just having sex with dozens and dozens and dozens of men recklessly. So I'm glad that you clarified that. But given the definition that you've provided, are there any challenges or pitfalls to being a sexually free woman?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a path, it's an initiation path. For you as a woman to come into your sexual empowerment, like there's going to be a lot of pitfalls, and you need somebody who's going to be able to support you. This is where the whole thing where we look at who's teaching the women, when they're younger about what sex is and what relationships are and all those types of things. And so, yeah, if you don't have that, it can be a perilous journey. It's just like anything. When you come into mastery of anything, it's going to be hard. It's going to be treacherous at times. You got to learn through trial and error sometimes. Sometimes you're going to, get your heart into things too much, or sometimes it's, the person's going to lie on you or whatever. That's a part of life. And sometimes you end up going through trauma.
Yeah.
A lot, like I've said this before a long time ago, a lot of the most sexually empowered women out there are women who had some kind of sexual trauma at a young age.
Mm.
And again, if you've had sexual trauma at a young age, there's two ways that could work out for you. One is that you can, understand the lesson and kind of rise, above it, get the lesson from it, rise above it, and like really incorporate that into your own sexual empowerment. Or others can kind of sink more into like a victim type of thing and they never ever recover.
Mm.
And so, that's why we got to look at traumatic situations from a metaphysical perspective. When you go through something hard, there's going to be two sides to it. Yes, it's hard and it sucks in the moment and an immediate aftermath, but there's also a jewel in there. There's also some kind of, lesson or benefit or you gaining a superpower as a result of going through that. And so, yes, the sexual, you don't just become empowered without going through stuff. So, yeah, the road's treacherous, but the road's treacherous to all empowerment. You see what I'm saying? To becoming a master at all things, the road is treacherous. So
Mm.
you don't get anything for free. There's no free. You see what I'm saying? You have to work for it. And so, no, I'm not saying that women should just go out and just, have sex with a bunch of people and be reckless. No,
Mhm.
you have to say, you know what? I want to go on a path of sexual empowerment. Let me see if I can find some teachers and read some information and learn about myself and learn about sexuality. And then let me begin to move on this journey. But yeah, even with that, it's going to be reckless. It's going to be challenging.
Mm. I know that you consider your wife, Kenya Stevens, to be a sexually free and empowered woman. And, she's also polyamorous. But I also know that in her case, and this is what she's also shared publicly, is that despite being sexually free and polyamorous, she still complains about not getting enough sex, and she still like yearns for sex with a very specific man, that being her dark masculine man. So why is she still experiencing that despite the fact that you consider her to be a sexually free woman?
Well, again, there's sexual freedom, right? Which is not having shame about your sexuality. So,
Mhm.
Kenya is one of the authors of the sexual freedom movement for women, like helping women not feel ashamed about who they are as sexual beings. The sexual empowerment, like that's a continual thing. You know what I'm saying? Like coming into higher levels of your sexual empowerment. And yeah, you don't get to escape the lessons. Like a lot of us think it's like superhero movies, like you're Superman now, and now you don't have any issues. You just beat everybody up and stuff like that. Like, no, you're going to be challenged. You're still going to be challenged, especially when you're trying to come into higher and higher levels of power within yourself. So, for her journey, she's on that journey. She's looking to, achieve a certain level of mastery.
Mhm.
And because she's doing that, she has to go through the trials and tribulations that are required to achieve that mastery. So
Mhm.
just because she's the author of, polyamory in the black community and the author of the sexually free and empowerment movement in the black community doesn't mean that she's not going to have any issues there. You know what I'm saying? No, if she wants to thrive in that and grow in that, she's going to have to continue to be challenged. There's no escape. Just because I teach about this stuff,
Mhm.
about relationships, and because I teach about metaphysics and I'm a tantra teacher and all that kind of stuff does not mean I get to escape the trials and tribulations that are involved in relationships.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know why people think that. People, this is the issue with religion. Like people elevate their pastor,
Oh.
to the point where they're surprised when, he or she does some messed up stuff or has, issues, or they try to look past it. But
Mhm.
no, he's not different than anybody in the congregation. You see what I'm saying? It's the same exact thing. That's what Lauren Hill tried to say in her when she did her live MTV Unplugged concert. She said, we're all going through the exact same thing.
Mhm.
She tried to tell people, and that's the truth. So no, I don't care if you're Kenya K or you're Rakim Sekou or whoever, you're still going to have challenges in relationships. You're still going to have sexual challenges as you continue to grow. That's all there is to it.
Wow. Okay, so my next question about that is that, from the outside looking in, it seems like men are having a much easier experience with polyamory. And I say that because again, Kenya is, not necessarily getting enough of the sex that she wants to be getting. Whereas in the 15 years that I've known you, I've never once heard you complain about not getting enough pussy. Like you have an abundance, like it's pussy's being thrown at you all the time. So it seems like that the men are really the ones benefiting from polyamory, whereas the women are like still trying to work through it. So why is that?
Well, I don't agree with that. I
Okay.
don't think men are having an easier time with polyamory than women. You know what I'm saying? Women like to think that,
Hmm.
right? But a lot of men in polyamory, they're not with the woman that they want to be with. They're not having the kind of sex they want to have. Like again, people assume that, but no, like that's just not the case. Um, and you can't look at me. You know what I'm saying? I'm an exception when it comes to access to, sex and feminine energy and that kind of stuff because of what I've cultivated over the years. So I'm not an example. It's true that I don't have enough time to even approach 5% of the women who are interested in being with me right now. Um, I just don't. I mean, it's impossible. I would have to clone myself, like Manhattan Man on the fucking, I forget what that superhero movie is, but yeah, you can't look at me and say, "Oh, men are having an easy time." Most men are not.
Okay.
They are not. Um, but again, polyamory is kind of new.
Hmm.
You can't forget that. I mean, we've only been like in terms of in the country, people
Hmm.
have only been openly polyamorous for maybe the past what, 15 years? I mean, Kenya and I were the first people in the black community
Hmm.
to come out as openly polyamorous.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And so it's a brand new lifestyle. Most people are still kind of monogamous minds. You have that monogamous mindset. Most
Mhm.
people are still caught up with religion and stuff like that. Like it's going to take time for people to get their footing. But I
Mhm.
know plenty of women who, they're thriving inside polyamory. Like they
Mhm.
really enjoy it. Again, most of those women, they do have primary partners or husbands.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And they're out there living their best life. I mean, you know some of these women. You see what I'm saying? Like you've seen some of these in PLA who are married women, but they're also out there kind of doing their thing. Um, but yeah, people are having a hard time, men and women. Because at
Mhm.
the end of the day, like I've always said, I do believe that most people actually desire and should have a primary partner. Doesn't mean you live with them. Doesn't mean you're necessarily married to, or whatever. You see what I'm saying? But you kind of have that person who like you are in lockstep with and who understands you and kind of supports you and that kind of stuff. If you don't have that, then hopefully you have community around you, which are people who are also living a similar lifestyle or who love you and support you and you support them in the same way. So, there's some things that need to be put in place to really help people be more successful when it comes to polyamory. But no, women are not having a harder time than men. There's a lot of men in poly and in the
Mhm.
lifestyle community who, they're still struggling with ED. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the partners and they're not getting the sex that they want and getting the partnerships they want. Don't fool yourself into thinking the men are having it easy. They are not.
Okay. Okay. Well, are you or have you experienced challenges as a man, as a polyamorous man?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's why I
Because it
wrote the
just seems
books
like
I
you're just
wrote.
having you're just having sex whenever you want and you're just having fun. Like it doesn't seem like you're having a hard time.
Yeah, what's interesting is, so first of all, this is why I write about what I write about in my book. So my book, The Art of Open Relating, Volume 3, I write about my actual experiences in polyamory, like the different women I've dated and that kind of stuff. And that shows you the hard times I've had within
Mhm.
poly. You see what I'm saying? Also, my other book, Finding Male Sexuality, is really more of a book about me coming into like a tantric consciousness. Yeah,
Mhm.
show you the struggles I've had sexually. You see what I'm saying? In my 20s and 30s. You see what I'm saying? Like, so no, you know, it hasn't been easy for me. I've had a lot of heartbreak. I've had a lot of challenges. Things have not been smooth. Like, yeah, I have access to a lot of women. I have access to a lot of sex, those types of things. But, you know, what's interesting
What's that?
is this. When you be, when you kind of master something or
Mhm.
you have something in abundance, what tends to go along with that is you not really being tied to it in the same way. So for example, like for me, it's no big deal. You see what I'm saying? Like having access to a lot of women. Whereas
Mhm.
if you're not somebody like me, it's a big deal to you.
Yeah.
Like a lot of men are like, oh, I want access to women, I want access to a lot of sex and all these types of things. Like for me, it's not a big deal. Like whatever. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not pressed about it. And again, it's probably because I have it, but I think those two things go together. Like when you're not pressed about something and you don't have this anxiety around it and all those types of things, I think it kind of comes to you a lot easier. I'm just very free and easy with it, man. It's just not a big deal. Sometimes I'm stressed out about like women I really like, or I want this connection or whatever. But overall, I'm just not pressed. And I think that's why it comes easy for me. And I think that's a rule I've had in life in general. The things I've not been like super pressed about have tend to come to me a lot easier. That's why the definition of love is like you have to let people come to you. You can't try to attach to them. You can't try to possess them and all that. You see what I'm saying? Like you have to like let them be free. And when you do that, they tend to come to you a lot easier. And
Mhm.
that's been one of the reasons why I've been able to attract a lot of women is because I do let women be free. I'm not trying to own them. I'm not trying to possess them. I'm not trying to do any kind of like toxic, weird stuff. And
Mhm.
so a lot of women feel safe being with me because I'm not trying to do that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to dictate their life. Like you can't be with these men or some kind of weird one penis policy or whatever. Like, I just think like I said, it hasn't been easy, and you've witnessed some of that with me. It hasn't been easy over the years. Some races have been really, really tough for me.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, in terms of having so much access, this is not a big deal at this point in my life.
Mhm. Mhm. Can a woman, I got to ask this because I know the answer, but I still want you to say the answer because people need to hear it.
Okay.
Can a woman truly be sexually free without risking unplanned pregnancies and abortion and STIs and heartbreak? Like, is that even possible?
Well, that's sexual empowerment.
Mhm.
So you want to be sexually free,
Mhm.
right? So that relieves the shame and the guilt, right? But then you want to be sexually empowered. Like you can't be a woman out here not understanding how to regulate the pH of your vagina, how to deal with STDs, how to deal with pregnancy. You can't be out here not understanding what you want sexually, like what kind of penis sizes you like and how you want men to interact with you and how you want to be touched. Like that's what sexual empowerment is about.
Yeah.
So, as women step into sexual empowerment, then those things that you named, you're able to manage them a lot better. Those things are always going to be a challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a part of life. Just like again, you don't get to engage in anything in life and there's not risks involved. I don't care if it's just working a job, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like there's always going to be risks. Get into a relationship is going to be risks, all those types of things. So yeah, you can be sexually free, you can be sexually empowered. The point of being sexually empowered, the benefit is that it minimizes those risks
Mm.
because you understand your body. You can look, when women are sexually empowered, they can look at a guy and say, you know what? No.
Mm.
Like, yeah, he's handsome, he's attractive. I even know the sex would be great, but no, there's something there that I'm not feeling, and that could possibly expose me to whatever, whether it's heartbreak or STI thing or whatever.
Mhm.
And they understand that, but that's a part of sexual empowerment. You see what I'm saying? Now, the women who just shut everything down, like I'm just not going to deal with anybody, that's not sexual empowerment.
Mm.
When
Wow.
you run because you've been hurt in the previous relationship, you see what I'm saying? And now you're mad at your womb choice or your dark masculine, or you got your heart broken and now you're claiming celibacy and stuff like that. That's not sexual empowerment.
Mm.
Nothing wrong with taking time for yourself and being celibate for a time or doing whatever you got to do. But if you're outside the game and just trying to ignore and, set a boundary where you're not interacting with men at all, then no, that's not sexual empowerment.
Mm.
It's like professional sports. Like you're tested by going up against the best.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? And playing with the best on your team. You see what I'm saying? Like that's how you are at the height. You know what I'm saying? Is by, you practice with the best, you play with the best, you go up against the best. So
Mm.
if you're out of the game, then no, you're not a professional. You're
Yeah.
not sharpening the sword, and
Mm.
then therefore you're not getting the benefits. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? So yeah, I want to make that distinction because some women claim that being celibate for 5 years and stuff like that and basically you just got hurt from your last relationship.
Mm.
I mean, those cases. You see what I'm saying? Like women that got hurt and they just kind of ran away from the whole game. That is not sexual empowerment at all.
Mm. Wow. I just love what you shared because like a lot of people they stay out of the game because they're terrified of unplanned pregnancy or STIs. Like they're really scared of these things. And so they don't even get in the game. And that's tragic because, you know, and there's again, there's no guarantee that you won't be hurt or that, there won't be any disappointment or whatever. You may have an unplanned pregnancy, you may experience an STI, maybe. But what I found as the on the empowerment path is that you get to a place where you're fearless. Like I'm not afraid of STIs. I'm not like they don't exist in my world. And people are shocked when I say this, but I told them like this is how I was able to do sex work without like being scared shitless. Like I just decided that the STIs is not a thing for me. It's not a
Hmm.
thing. I don't give a fuck. Like I'm sure many of the clients I had, they probably did have STIs. In fact, one of them he even told me before I was about to give him head. He told me, he told me, I can't do this to you. I have herpes. Like he literally, and I didn't even ask him. He
Hmm.
volunteered the information. And I was like, okay, well, what do you want to do? And he's like, okay, well, I have, flavored condoms. I'm like, so like I chose to feel safe. I chose to feel safe. And so I didn't experience STIs at all when I was doing sex work.
Yeah. And
So
that's more of a sexual empowerment path
exactly.
yeah,
You over
consciousness.
you get to the point where it's not even I have no fear of the fucking STI. Like what the fuck is that? And same thing with pregnancy. Like, you get to a point where you're able to have real conversations with men and tell them exactly where you're at in your cycle and, show them your data if they need to see it, on your iPhone or whatever. Like you can have real actual conversations about what kind of sex you want to have. Like, yes, I want you to ejaculate your semen inside of my vagina. I want that. I want it raw. And therefore, I've done the work to know my cycle, to know where I'm at, to know when I'm fertile, to be able to explain that to you and have real conversation with you. This is what is not happening. People who are not even getting in the game, they're not having the conversation. They're not doing the work. They're just staying stuck in fear. And that's
Absolutely.
not the work.
Absolutely. You know, fear or victimhood.
Mm,
Some people are just stuck in victimhood. Like they felt like they were done wrong, or they felt like they should have been with the last guy or girl that they were with, or whatever, and they're really pissed about that, and they're hurt and they're bitter around that. You see
mm,
what I'm saying? And it's like, what you got to say about life and like the whole relationship game is sometimes that's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Like you understand, like if you're gonna relate and be with people, even if you're with your current partner for years, like there's still gonna be heartbreak within that.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like it's still gonna be issues and challenges and you know, a lot of times some toxicity or whatever. Like that's just how it goes, man.
mm.
And what you gotta do is learn from it.
Yeah.
You gotta learn from what happened and like, okay, how did I contribute to this?
Mm,
Like you know like talking a lot of my clients it takes a while to talk through for them to understand and realize like yeah you're right I did see these red flags early on and I ignored them because the sex was good or he had muscles or the dick was you know what I'm saying like
mm.
yes or I just wanted them you
Yeah.
see what I'm saying like okay that's cool same thing with the guys I'm talking to you know what I'm saying like yo like you knew what she was about man you saw her post about her your exes online and trash these dudes so you
Mm,
know automatically she's in a victim mindset. You know it's a pattern that she's got.
mm,
And again, I get the ego thing as men, especially like, yeah, what's gonna be different with us? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a dicker down, right? Okay, whatever, dude.
mm,
We're all pretty much the same in that department. You're not gonna bring that much more to the table than the last three or four guys.
mm,
So you just admit you ignored the red flags because your ego told you you were better than the next man.
mm,
And it really wasn't about that. She just has a particular pattern, man, and an expectation and a level of toxicity about her that she's going to project onto you in a relationship.
mm,
And we've been in that on both sides. I've projected stuff on the women I've dated. They've projected stuff onto me, and you know, my ego was hurt. I thought I was better. You see what I'm saying? Like I'll be better than the previous guys. But
mm,
no, man, it's not like that. So you gotta learn that kind of stuff when you're out here relating. You see what I'm saying? And like just take your L, take the loss and learn from it and be better. And that's how you come into your empowerment. You can't be empowered if you stay in that victim mindset. It doesn't work that way.
mm, absolutely. Why do so many women have a hard time grasping the concept of equal value exchange or fair exchange when it comes to relating with their dark masculine man? Like, I can't even tell you the number of women. Like, when I bring up the idea that, you know what, I know you want more from him, but in order to receive more from him, you've got to be willing to give him more of what he actually wants and values. Uh, a lot of women have a hard time hearing that, Rakim. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you used to talk about this and explain it very clearly, which is a lot of women live in the fantasy and they feel like just their presence alone, you see what I'm saying,
I'm a
is enough.
goddess.
Yeah, like I'm a goddess or I'm beautiful and I gave him sex
Mm,
and therefore that should be enough and he should just take care of me and love me and marry me and like they just have this thing and that's a part of the culture we live in where
mm,
unfortunately women have been taught that. You
yeah.
just see what I'm saying? And that's why in my opinion, they tend to get stuck. But the other part of it is people don't understand value.
Mm,
And this happens not just in romantic relationships. This happens like even like in roommate situations where like one person's paying more money for the apartment they're sharing.
mm,
So they see themselves as having more value because they're paying more money. You see
mhm,
what I'm saying? And my thing is like, that's not how it works. Like you got to look at all the ways that each person is contributing to upholding the household.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and people have a hard time with that. Like maybe, like this is what I went through when I was in fraternity. When I
Mhm,
was in fraternity, I became the vice president and the president of fraternity. And there was basically eight brothers that we were, you know, active, and four of them were workers. Like
okay.
they would do the work, like hang flyers, go to the car wash, you know, do the car wash fundraiser, all that. The other four were not. You see what I'm saying? And I would be pissed because I'm like,
Mm,
yo, we need all hands on deck. Like you guys are just wearing the paraphernalia out here getting pussy and shit like that, but you're not doing the work for
mm,
the fraternity. It took me a while to understand, like, you know what? They're not doing the same work me and the other guys are doing, but they do contribute because they're the party guys, they're the fun guys, and that does bring energy and attention to the fraternity. You see what I'm saying? And so, like, it took me a while to understand that value comes in different forms, and I think people have that in general. And it happens in relationships. People think, oh, I'm paying, or I do this, or I do that, and therefore I'm adding more value. That's not true. If you were adding more value, you wouldn't be with the person the way you are.
Mm,
People who have more value, like in their mind, they cannot be with somebody of lesser value. The
mm,
bottom line is you actually see the value in this person. And it
mm,
could be in their beauty, it could be in their advice or their presence, it could be how they increase your brand. There's a lot of ways that people add value in relationships, but people have a hard time acknowledging those things.
mhm,
That
mm.
makes sense?
Absolutely. Now here's the thing. Um, I don't know if you've ever heard the term pick me. It's very popular. And I've been,
Yes, I
people
have.
call me that, because when I talk about, well, giving value, like, yes, I don't just want more of Rakem Sekou's time and energy. Like, I want to also give him equivalent value because I believe in fairness. I believe in balance. Like, I don't just want to take from you and not give to you. Like, what the fuck? And so, like, but people have said, oh, that's people pleasing and you're being a pick me, So, like, how do you differentiate between being a pick me versus just, giving value?
Well, what a pick me is, or what they try to define it as, is somebody who just like does all these things,
Mhm.
right? Like gives up themselves, gives up their sovereignty, basically becomes almost a slave to the desires of the person they want to be picked by.
Mm,
You see what I'm saying? And so that's not authentic. If you're gonna just sacrifice who you are, right? And then because eventually this is not gonna feel right to you. Eventually you're gonna resent it down the line, right? And that's what these women are saying. They're like, look, if you're a pick me, you're not gonna be able to uphold that for
mm,
very long. Eventually the real you's gonna come out and you're gonna be mad and end up divorced.
mm,
So that to me is a different thing, right? Of you just doing these things just for the sake of getting married or getting the guy.
mhm,
You see what I'm saying? And guys do that same thing too. Like they do whatever the woman wants, pay the money, you know what I'm saying? Give her whatever she wants. That's like a pick me on the male side.
mm,
And eventually he gets mad and upset because she doesn't really love him. Well, no, you just gave up everything that you were about in order to get her, and that she never was able to really learn who you were and love you for your personality or your character.
mm,
But the difference is adding value is like just you realizing that you are a valuable person. So if you naturally are somebody who cooks, or naturally somebody who works, or naturally somebody who's entrepreneurial, or naturally somebody who likes to maintain the house, or naturally somebody who likes to support your man or support your woman, that's just value. That's you being you. That's you being your authentic self, and willing to show up inside these marriages and relationships. That's different than the whole pick me concept, where supposedly you're giving up who you are as an individual to just please this person so you get chosen.
yeah. Here's the thing, Raquel. A lot of women, they think that, well, I am giving him a lot of value. I'm giving him tremendous value, and he's just not like appreciating it.
Absolutely. And so here's the issue.
Okay.
Each person gets to define the value for themselves.
Mm,
That's the challenge. So for example, let's say a beautiful woman
mhm,
like Beyonce, right? Let's say she was single. I could be like, well, man, I could provide a lot of value to her as Rakim Sekou.
mhm,
Like I could introduce her to Tantra. I could introduce her to, a lot of things that'll help blow her up and get her magnetism straight. You see what I'm saying? Like really even make her bigger than what she is now.
mhm,
It doesn't mean that she values that. You see what I'm saying? Like she's looking for somebody who like Jay-Z, like who is a multi-millionaire, even a billionaire, or somebody who's like, in the mainstream and like very popular and famous. Like those are the things she values. So just because I know I have these talents about myself doesn't mean that other people are going to value it the same way. That's why like I got to show up authentically, and the women who actually choose to be with me and recognize who I am, those are the women I accept into my life. I
mhm,
can't complain that, oh, Beyonce and Rihanna and all these women out here, they're not recognizing my value. They don't have to recognize my value. It's not, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not, I can't force my value on people. Same thing
mhm,
with jobs. I can't go to IBM or to Meta and be like, yo, here's my value. Like, hire me, pay me $200,000 a year. They're like, we don't value that. That's not what we're looking for. Like, get out of here. You see what I'm saying? So that's the issue with the value is the thing is that people, you can't force your value principles on other people. And sometimes it's true. Like if they could see your value, they would actually embrace you more, love you more. But they just can't see it. But you still can't force it on people.
Mm, mm. Wow, that's deep. Okay, this is something that you've asked me several times over the years. And I thought, like, wow, why does he keep asking me this question? And I don't know if you're joking around or what, but you've asked me on a number of occasions if I've been diagnosed with any sort of psychiatric disorder. And so, since you keep asking me that question, what do you feel I should be diagnosed with?
This goes back to the previous question when you're talking about the mandatory, like people should turn them. You
Yeah,
say men should turn themselves
what
in to
should I
get
turn
diagnosed.
myself in for?
Um, I don't know. You, you have a very unique quality about you in terms of how you look at things. You have an OCD quality that I've diagnosed you with, maybe even an ADHD type of thing. I don't know. I just asked, have you ever gotten diagnosed? You know what I'm saying? Like, but there's something about you that to me, in my unprofessional view,
Mhm.
probably there would be some elements where a psychologist would be like, yeah, you do have some of the qualities of OCD
Why do you say I
or
have
whatever.
OCD? What makes you say I have OCD?
I don't know if you have OCD. I'm just using that as an
No, I know,
example.
but I want like what's the logic
But you get real hyper and
Mhm.
you like just fucking lose it. Like certain things that are said or whatever, like you just go off the deep end.
Mhm.
Um, and you can't hear anything being said to you.
Mhm.
Like when I try to reason with you and rationalize to you, like you just can't hear it. Like you're stuck on certain things. So I don't know if that's OCD or whatever, but it seems to me to be some kind of psychological thing. Again,
Mhm.
I'm not saying you actually have one, a
Yeah.
psychological disorder, but I do feel like it's a possibility.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Like obsessive compulsive disorder. I mean, I don't know all the details about it. I have not studied it, but like when I get triggered by something, maybe that you said, I will think about that thing that you said for like like hours upon hours, like days, weeks on end, like just obsessed with like analyzing it. And like, why did he say that? What did he mean by that? Blah 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 blah. Like just going on and on and on and on and on. Like, because like so I don't know if that's OCD. It could be, but I agree. I do that absolutely. I get fixated
Yeah.
on
I don't know
things.
what it is. I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's not good or bad, right or wrong, because my youngest son, he had when he was like a toddler, 2, 3, 4 years old, like he would just play with like one toy. Like he would have a whole room full of toys, but he'll play with like one little small teeny weeny car and just
Yeah.
drive that little teeny weeny car around the whole apartment over and over and over and over and over, like for like hours on end.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like if we gotta be careful. This is the thing, like even with the terms like avoidant and narcissist, like the thing that people get stuck on is that this means this person is a bad person.
Yeah. Well, they're doing it as an excuse
Mhm.
for why things didn't work out. So if you can like women want to label the guy avoidant,
Mhm.
right, or narcissistic because if that's true, then oh, that's why he fucked up in the relationship. That's why it didn't work out because he's got a psychological issue.
Mhm.
So it kind of again, it's the whole victim mentality stuff, right? It gets them off of the hook of being accountable and responsible for what they've created or co-created inside the relationship. And so
Mhm.
that's what people are looking for. They want to place blame on somebody else.
Mhm.
Again, not realizing, look, there were some very clear indications. Like one of the things I say about people who are narcissists is that they'll love bomb you to death,
Mhm.
right? And like make all these promises and tell you how amazing you are, all this type of stuff, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, that the people who fall for that, like you all have an issue. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like nobody in their right mind is saying all this positive stuff and doting over you in this way and like that heavy. If anybody's doing that to you, that's a red flag.
Mhm.
But the bottom line is what it is you really liked it. You
Mm,
see what I'm saying? You love the fact that he was like telling you how great you are, how sexy you are. He wants to meet you. He wants you to meet his mother and marry you. Like he's just laying it on thick, and that feels really good to you. And the issue is, in monogamous culture, like that's the dream.
mm,
You see what I'm saying? Like somebody comes along and just sweeps you off of your feet, and immediately you just kind of hit it off and stuff like that. And so, it's your fault for believing in the dream in that way
mm,
and not having any kind of, discernment.
mm,
And like, wait a minute, what's the saying of all that glitters is not gold? Like, come on, yo, take a step back and really ask yourself, does this make sense? Am I really that dope? You know what I'm saying? Where this person is like promising their life to me and stuff like that. Like, what's actually happening? So to me, when I hear about women kind of falling for that,
mm,
I'm like, well, you're equally to blame.
mm.
That doesn't sound right. You know what I'm saying? How often has that happened to you? You know what I'm saying? Like where all these men are coming to you saying, oh, you're beautiful, this and that. Now, if that happens to you regularly,
Mhm,
then yes, because there are women where certain things happen because they're just drop dead gorgeous.
mhm,
So yeah, all the men are telling them how beautiful they are. All the men are saying this and that. Yeah, that matches up because it happens to you. It's been happening to you for the past 20 years.
mhm,
But no, if this is something that's a little bit different for you,
mhm.
you have to ask, well, why is he saying all these things?
Yeah. I don't know that I really believe women when they say that the dark masculine man love bomb them. Because in my experience, like of being attracted to dark masculine men is the ones that I'm attracted to, they didn't love bomb me at all. They didn't say a bunch of nice things. They didn't say any nice things, really. Um, and the men that are very poetic and telling me all these beautiful, wonderful, I love you, love you, love you, Leslie. Like I'm turned off by those men. I'm completely turned off.
Yeah, there's something not right about that. It's
Hmm.
like a level of desperation
Hmm.
that,
Hmm.
and most women are usually turned off by that. Like regular women are turned off by that. When men pour it on too thick in the beginning, they're
Hmm.
like, that's a red flag. It's,
It's
it's
weird.
never been not a red flag.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
women are like, yo, slow down. Like it's too much, bro. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So when I hear women say they fell for that, I'm like, yo, talk to other women. There's no way they would accept that as
Hmm.
something that's normal
Hmm.
or not a red flag. Like, no, sorry.
Yeah, but going back to the dark masculines, because a lot of dark masculines, they're not like super lovey-dovey a lot of the time. They're not super romantic. They're short on words. I think it's more that, and this is what women have a hard time admitting, is that he fucked you really well. Like
Right.
like he fucked you, like he just like you couldn't even believe it. And so you're saying that that's love bombing instead of just saying what it actually is. He just fucked the shit out of you.
Yeah. And you
He
loved it. And you loved it. And now he's not giving you everything you're looking for because you want more than that. You want to marry him now and
Yeah, yeah.
be exclusive with you. And now you got to figure out something to say that's gonna villainize him. And that's not what happened. What
Mhm.
happened was I don't know, you got caught up in the fantasy.
Mhm.
Or you just like you said, you just love the dick so much that you know what I'm saying or whatever. I don't even know.
Yeah, he got me hooked on the penis and like, and now he doesn't care. He doesn't care that I'm completely hooked on him. Like he doesn't give a fuck. Like he's a jerk.
Yeah, and that's the question, like, and that goes back to sexual empowerment. Like, why are you hooked on the penis? Where there's nothing else that exists in the whole world, no other men, no other possibilities. Like, how did you allow yourself to get hooked on the penis? And again, you could love it.
Hmm.
All these different like it's number one, it's the best, all those things, but like how do you get hooked on something? Like that's addiction. Like how do we get addicted to things? Like usually something within us is at a low point where it opens us up to like try the thing, try the drug, or try, you know what I'm saying, or join the gang or whatever it is. Like why are you addicted to this person? And this is for men and for women, right? Like why are you addicted to her, bro? Like
Because it
what's
makes you
happening?
feel high. You feel high. You feel
Yeah, it's a drug.
Yeah.
So just call it that. So yeah, I voluntarily put myself in a position where I can get this dopamine rush from this woman.
Mm,
But you know how addiction is. You don't get to dictate,
mm,
you know what I'm saying? When the drug pusher is going to give you what you're looking for, you got to take it when you can take it. And it's probably going to be semi-abusive
mm,
because of the way you fiend for it.
mm,
You see what I'm saying?
mm. Yeah, but some women will say, but I know I shouldn't be an addict, but I love fiending for his penis.
Then just admit that. Just admit that you love fiending for the penis, and
Okay.
don't try to villainize him or call him NPD or whatever. And just say that I'm a fiend for the penis. And a lot of women say that. A lot of women do say that. They say I just love the dick so much. Period. And they're cool with admitting that to themselves. Like he fucks me. Like a lot of clients I've talked to, like he just fucks me better than any man I've ever been with, and I'm always gonna fuck this dude. You see what I'm saying? And I just help, and my job is to kind of help them back off the ledge a little bit, so they don't throw their entire life away, and there are other possibilities and stuff like that. While they're chasing the dick, you see what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yeah. Whew. Allow the fiending for the dick to grow and expand you. Like that's how I look at it. Like instead of just being like, oh, I got to get the dick and like nothing else exists and I'm just gonna let myself like just drown. Like let it grow you. Like, okay, I want the dick. Okay, like how do I get the dick every month? Okay, I need X amount of money so I can pay for this and that, and I need to have these things in place, and I want to stay at a five-star hotel in the presidential suite, so I need this amount. Like plan for it. Plan for the dick. Like prepare yourself, put yourself in formation, get information, like Beyonce says, so that you can have the dick.
absolutely. Yeah, I've always told people because we all have our addictions, right? So you gotta cultivate your life in such a way where you can always have the thing you're trying to or that you're addicted to. So make sure that you have your stuff together so you can have that thing. Like I don't have any judgment about you being addicted to whatever, because like I said, we all have our little addictions. You see what I'm saying? But you have to do what you have to do to make sure you can receive what you're looking for. And again, there's no need to villainize the thing you're addicted to.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Like don't act like they did some kind of trick and
Mm.
now you are strung out.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's not how it works.
Mm. Wow. That's deep, Rakim. Wow. I know that one of the monk qualities, and we're getting to the end of the monk season of your solar system in Pantheon. The monk, I believe you said that the monk says that nothing has a quality in and of itself. So, assuming I do have OCD and nothing has a quality in and of itself, what could be some of the good aspects of OCD?
Um, I think people with OCD, they can get hyper focused on certain things. I think that's a good aspect. Really getting stuff done, really focusing on particular things until they get done. Um, I don't know enough about OCD to be honest. Like again, I kind of use the term loosely, like people use NPD. Um, so I don't really know enough about it to be able to talk about all the benefits, but I do feel there are some benefits with all these different disorders.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
OCD, I mean, if you're focusing on, and this is what a lot of women who have dark feminine power, but they're misusing it, they're focused on how fucked up the relationship is. They're focused on, he's rejecting me, he's abandoning me, he doesn't care, he keeps disappointing me. It's just like he's a jerk. Like they're focused on that and they're looking at social media pages and videos on YouTube and all these things that reinforce that focus. That
Hmm.
this relationship is fucked up and it's because of him.
Yeah.
And that's all they're looking at. And then they're saying, but I really, I wish he would love me for me. I
Yeah.
wish he would spend more time with me. But what are you focused on? Change your focus. Get the OCD working for you so that you
Absolutely.
got what you want.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally agree with that.
So my last question is, what, I know you have a hard time with this question. What aspect of your unhealed inner feminine do I represent to you?
What aspect of my unhealed inner feminine do you represent? Hmm, I think the last time you asked me that, I'm not sure that you asked me this before. I feel like I would need to think about it a bit more.
Okay.
I don't know what part of the feminine you represent.
Okay.
What do you feel you
Because you
represent?
said like I trigger you in a way that no other woman triggers you. So like what's that all about?
Well, one of the triggers with you is that you don't seem to understand things. So when I explain certain things to you, you just don't get it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, that's very triggering.
Mhm.
Like when I feel I've explained something very clearly,
Mhm.
especially if I've done it over and over again, it's kind of hard for me to reconcile, you know what I'm saying it again and the thing coming up again. Like I have a real hard trigger with that.
Yeah.
Um, that's probably the bigger thing where you tend to be frantic, you tend to not listen or understand or comprehend. I don't know what that's really about for me.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not sure if I have
You
that with
feel
other
like
people
people
in
should
general.
just be able to understand your logic because it's so logical.
Yeah, I think especially if I explain it over and over again. Um, yeah, I do get frustrated when people don't get it.
Yeah. And I've had to really work at like, listening to you and understanding that, okay, he's explaining it to me logically and analytically. And so it's not that he's trying to hurt me or whatever. He's like, this is just how he's explaining it. And so like that has helped me to better understand. But what I would say is that it's not that I wasn't even understanding your logic. It's that I'm coming at you with emotion, so you might be explaining it perfectly, but my emotionality is somewhere else. And you're not, like in my mind, I feel like you're not addressing the emotionality. And so I just get more and more and more emotional. And you're like, but I'm trying to be logical with you. Why are you not understanding it? And I'm like, but you're not getting that. I'm emotional right now and you're not addressing my emotion.
And so, what would you want me to do to address the emotion?
Well, you've already done it. And I talked about this on my social media because it blew me away. And because like a lot of times if I ask you to do like to hold space for me or to do up level with me, usually you don't do it or you say no, you decline. And so, I try my best to, handle my negative emotions on my own or maybe with another person, but I still want you to hear my negative emotion. And so eventually it does come out. And a lot of times in the past, when it just came out anyway, you would either do the silent treatment or you would block me or you would threaten to block me. Like that was the norm for us. Whereas now, like the last time that I did that, where I just completely went off and I was just illogical and just totally emotional, um, you didn't do the silent treatment and you didn't threaten to block me. You didn't block me. Like you just stayed with me throughout like this was like a whole weekend of just craziness, of just me sending you crazy text, full of emotionality. And you didn't run away. You didn't block me. You just stayed with me. And like that was healing. Like that just was like I remember sitting in the bathtub and just being like, holy fuck, like he's not leaving. He's not abandoning me. Like he's staying with me even though I'm being completely emotional and crazy and just cursing you out. Like you're just like, whoa, like he's still here.
Well, maybe you can help explain to your listeners what is happening when you're doing the emotional thing and just like texting nonstop and
Well,
being because you're also
okay, so
attacking
yeah.
people.
I'm thinking that okay, I'm being a bad girl. I'm doing the very thing that he doesn't want me to do. I'm cursing him out. I'm just like just all over the place. And I'm expecting that he's gonna punish me. He's gonna block me. He's gonna punish me. He's gonna do silent treatment. He's gonna do the thing that I'm afraid of him doing, which is not like just cutting me off. Because when he cuts me off, like I fucking like I have a meltdown. Like I cry for days when you block me.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, there's a like in the moment I was just like, oh my God, any minute now he's gonna block me, he's gonna block me, any minute now, oh my God, he's gonna block me, he's gonna block me. But then there's this other part of me that's like, oh, please don't block me, please don't block me, please don't block me, please don't block me. And I had to like instead of like anticipating, okay, he's gonna punish me, he's gonna punish me, I had to shift into like, no, he's not gonna punish me, he's not going anywhere, he's gonna stay present with me because he loves me. And I had to like practice that in the moment, like, no, 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 he's gonna stay, he's gonna stay. And then you would text me back. I'm like, oh my God, he's staying with me. He's staying oh my God. Like, but I had to shift in the moment and expect something different from you in order to experience something different with you.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it sounds like you're working on a pattern where you expect to be abandoned
Yes.
by the masculine and
Yes.
you're
Punished.
trying, yeah, punished. And you're trying to keep that pattern in place by purposefully and consciously doing the things that would trigger the abandonment.
Hmm. Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And like it's not it's outside of my conscious because it's not like I consciously said, "Oh, let me go off on him and see what he's gonna do." It's not a conscious thing. It's just like it comes out like, "Oh, I hate you, Rakim."
But while you're doing it, you're aware you're doing it though, right?
I started to catch myself like, "Oh my God, like like I'm going crazy. I'm being frantic. Like, oh my God." But I couldn't really stop myself. Like I still kept sending you these angry text messages and just cursing you out. But at the same time, I was like, no, no, he's not gonna block me. He's gonna stay. He's gonna stay. He's gonna stay. And you stayed. And I was fucking blown away by like I even messaged Kenya like, oh my God, Kenya, he didn't block me. I can't believe it. He didn't block me.
Right. So like the next thing you're gonna do is work on you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I don't have to test those boundaries with people.
Mm, mm,
Like I'm gonna stop doing the frantic texting and yelling at people and calling them names and
mhm.
calling their loved one names and stuff like that. Like you're gonna begin to catch yourself and like stop that behavior, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just you staying present with me, calm me the fuck down. Because it
Yeah,
shows
but
me that he's not gonna leave.
the thing is, you want to actually change the behavior.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
it's probably not sustainable that you do that over and over and over again and expect that you're not going to get blocked at some point
Yeah. Yeah.
because the behavior is abusive, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I don't deny that. It really is. So a lot of women say, well, I want him to hold space for me. He should hold space for me, but you can't abuse that. Like, he might hold space for you every now and again, if it's something, few and far between. But if like every single weekend you're going off on him, like he's not going to tolerate that. Like that's ridiculous, right? So I know I can't like do that to you over and over and over and over again. But the fact that I manifested a reality where you didn't block me, like it showed me like, oh, um this whole idea, this thing that I've been projecting onto you that you're going to punish me severely, like I don't have to keep feeding that idea. It's not true.
Right.
So I don't need to keep testing. Oh, is he going to punish me? Is he going to? No, he's not even look, he doesn't even want to punish me. Like, let's do something else. Let's have a different conversation now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't need to keep trying to see if you're gonna punish me. Like let's let go of that kink because it sucks, and let's relate to him differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of you letting go of that pattern, you know, and once you let go of that pattern and you're not trying to force men in general, because it's not just with me, you've done this, not try to force men to, block you or reject you or whatever, then you'll start to manifest a different relationship situation for yourself. So it's really about the pattern that you developed probably around with your father, where you are just expecting men to not show up, and so you do the things that cause them to not show up. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? So the healing is in you recognizing that, and then you stop doing those things. Does that make sense?
Whew, yeah. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Raquel. I just appreciate you so much for being on my podcast, and you're just so wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, where can people find you and pay you and all those wonderful things?
Yeah, they can find me. Go to my Instagram, Rakem Sekou, RAKHEMSEKU. Click the link in my bio to see all the services I offer. You can also get a free consultation with me. So we can do a 30-minute consultation and I can see what's going on with your relationships, etc., and give you advice.
Thank you so much, Rakim Sekou.
Okay, peace and blessings.